From our headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria, this is still Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television, and now straight to the second and last conversation for today. Nigeria's domestic intelligence agency is in the eye of a controversy. From a tweet by journalist Jackson Ude to a full-blown report by news website firstpost.ng, the story says that more than 390 personnel of the state security services have signaled their intention to resign.
The question is why? Well, there is a litany. The mass exodus is as a result of dissatisfaction with poor allowances and the continuous retention of the leadership of the service deemed to be insensitive to the welfare of staff.
Very well said. Now, unhappy officers are unhappy due to the DG's failure to implement a promised 40% allowance increase for our security and intelligence personnel, which has been pending since he took office. Instead of introducing new allowances, the DG is accused of shortchanging personnel through restrictive policies.
That's right. One such policy, as the story goes, counts weekends as part of the mandatory 30-day leave, unlike other agencies that offer 30 working days of leave.
Furthermore, a travel allowance of 25,000 naira recommended by the Federal Civil Service for officers has not been implemented. Officers reportedly receive only 12,000 naira, with the remainder allegedly misappropriated.
Add this to the list: a daily sustainably allowance, which is standard in other services, is yet to be introduced in the DSS, forcing personnel to fend for themselves during official travels.
Another one is the use of road transport for officers instead of air travel, which has also raised concerns about safety, especially for those traveling long distances for promotion exams. Parking allowances remain stagnant at 80,000 naira for officers and 40,000 naira for lower ranks despite inflation. There are allegations of favoritism in posting and recruitment, with personnel from the DG's hometown of Bichi being given a preferential treatment.
The DSS VGC hospital is reportedly experiencing mass resignations, yet the DG is accused of responding by recruiting less qualified individuals from his village, relying on Google for diagnosis.
Well, you read this hoping it's not true, but Nigeria feeds a nightmare to its people in daytime. Emeka, don't tell me you're not worried about this.
Oh, I'm worried.
Yes, well, particularly, there was this little comical sketch by a comedian who narrated, how that the DSS came hunting, and while they found the victim now gave them, or the culprit, gave them food as a largesse, just to feed their contact.
I don't think you should take those kids seriously, but it's an extreme depiction of how things are, how vulnerable our security and intelligence officers are, and while it might be comical, at the same time it sends a strong message that things are not really okay in our security and intelligence service, and it's a fact. Look at the spate of bribery here and then. Even the chairman of the EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, the other day was saying that some of his officers are compromised. The Oba of Benin, was saying the same thing too. That EFCC has become a cash and carry agency. So when you put that together, even with the DSS, you just wonder. We are not even talking of that of the police. It's an unfortunate endemic problem. So, but the DSS, these are officers, who have access to state secrets, to very sensitive information, and then if, as the story goes, it is true that they have been denied these allowances and, perks of office, then it is dangerous. If 390 officers have indicated intention to resign, then you can expect that maybe more than that number will soon join the list. And that is unfortunate. You cannot treat your officers, shabbily. You cannot treat, patriotic officers, security officers who risk their lives in the defense of the nation, shabbily. I've always said that, first of all, there should be a comprehensive insurance package. A comprehensive insurance package for people joining the security services at any level. The military, security, and intelligence services. There should be a comprehensive package. Comprehensive compensation package, insurance package that, will motivate them to put in their best. But if the story, is as it goes, then there's a serious problem.
Yes, there's a serious problem. And one very important element that wasn't even captured here is to tell you the number of DSS officers that have been killed in the fight with terrorism and banditry, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, which it begs the question, don't you think this is a perennial issue? Because the same issue the DSS are going through is equally what the police, is equally what the Nigerian military is going through. So don't you think this is more of a systemic problem that we have in Nigeria?
Some of those things can be attributed to intelligence failure, poor intelligence. For instance, look at the 9 DSS officers who were killed in Ikorodu some years ago, allegedly by oil thieves. They got information and they headed to the place. But I think there should have been a kind of follow-up information. I don't know the quality of information that was exchanged between them and their informants. But sadly, they were just killed for nothing, and nothing has come out of it. What about those who were killed in Nasarawa some years ago? DSS, police officers. What has come out of it? Officers killed here and there. What has come out of it? Okay. Yeah. So you just see their families are abandoned, just left to their, to their own fate, and that is really rather unfortunate.
Okay, thank you, Emeka. I think this is the first time we are getting to see this kind of mass resignation from the DSS. Now, looking at the current DG that is there, don't you think that something is really going on? Him doing his job and bringing everyone to order. And maybe those that are resigning are saying that there's no point for them anymore to be there because maybe they can't do what they are supposed to indirectly, because when they brought up the issue of the Kogi State governor, he made statements of use of some of the DSS in the system. Now, do you think that this has a way or indirectly have to do with some of the DSS not seeing room for them to be fraudulent in some of their teams?
No, I don't. It's not. I don't think it has anything to do with their performance. You see, every officer in every organization, whether public sector or private sector, deserves, to be adequately remunerated, so that when they come to work one day, they will, they'll be that, they'll be happy, they'll be glad to come to work the next day. But if, like when I was a paid employee, we had this standing joke that our pay, could not take us beyond the nearest bus stop to the bank. There's this thing they call, take home pay. I don't know who introduced that deceptive term, take home pay. What is take home? That the pay cannot take you home. It can't even take you beyond the nearest bus stop to the bank. So you must get the best quality of staff. The DG of DSS was the only security officer who was not changed by President Bola Tinubu when he got into office last year. But I think he's due for a change. Let them inject fresh blood. Then bring on, an entirely new, person who can, who can understand and, flow with the needs of the personnel. It's not about, performance or corruption or anything. If there are things like that, of course, I expect that the service will activate its standing rules on such. But this one is clear. Allowances that ought to be paid to these people, to these patriotic officers, are not being paid. And it's their right.
Do you think the DG is to be held responsible?
Yes, he is. Of course, the buck stops at his table. The buck stops at his table. If constables in the police are truly earning more than assistant security officers, then there's a problem. Because I hope you know these people have irregular working hours. Irregular working hours. They you know, there are those of them who act as executive, who serve in executive protection. They protect VIPs, they protect people in government, and then you keep them out traveling long distances, and then at the end of the day, you don't take care of them. I know recently there was something was said about, you know, modifying the operational guidelines, you know, of police security officers, such that, you know, this issue of having to send, if let's say the president is visiting Lagos, and then you have to send large teams of security officers by road. You know, you see a number of such officers have died, you know, across successive administrations since independence. So it's better, let the local security system, you know, handle such arrangements instead of bringing people all the way from Abuja. You know, they travel such a long distance and they are fatigued, and then you still put them going all over the place where the president is going to, and then you still put them again on the road back to Abuja. Come on. It's if these allowances are being owed, I will appeal to the leadership of the DSS to quickly resolve this problem.
Very true. So while we dwell on this particular matter, I think it's very important I take this paragraph from the same story. The retired director of operations continues to lead dangerous missions in the north, where bandits have killed numerous DSS officers. What it will take for the president to sack the DG and bring new leadership, here is the question. Do you think it will take too much from the president to retire, you know, the DGs and maybe get to bring in new personnel, you know, who are competent enough to do the job?
Only the president knows why he's still retaining Bichi, because Bichi had actually retired from the service before former President Muhammadu Buhari brought him on board. He had retired, and then you brought him on board, kept him there. You removed the Bayelsa man Sayefa, who was there, you know, and you put him. Then Tinubu inherited him and still kept him there. For what? Are we saying that, you know, in a country of 200 million Nigerians, you cannot find competent people who can man these offices? It also says a lot about our selection system, you know, our selection process. Yes, with due respect to Bichi, yes, you know, accomplished officer and all of that. But you need to inject new blood, fresh blood into these agencies, because there are newer developments going on across the world, you know, in security, intelligence, name it. So you need younger officers, you know, who can truly appreciate what it takes to occupy that position. But that's not to take away from the competence of Bichi, but to just say that the president should think about, you know, periodic change, you know, of some of these officers, so it doesn't look like an inheritance, you know, people inheriting offices. No, it should not be like that.
Now let's say that something urgent is not brokered, you know, that would keep these 390 officers, you know, back home, and maybe they get to leave the service. Don't you think that what we have is over 390 or more information of national intelligence going out? Don't you think that it's going to compromise the security architecture in the country as a result of the under motivation of this personnel? And just to let you know, the CIA in the United States, for example, the average CIA personnel earns $7,946 in a month. That's about 10 million or 11 million naira in 1 month. And here we have our average DSS going home with a paltry 50,000 naira. So don't you think this first off would lead to compromise in our security and as a result of the under motivation of personnel?
Well, two things. One, no matter how well you treat people, those who will be disgruntled with the system will be disgruntled. There's nothing you can do about it. Then two, the service, you know, definitely from time to time will, you know, with his ranks and remove people, you know, remove personnel whose activities, you know, do not align with, you know, its code of conduct. You know, those who are found culpable in misconduct. Of course, it's a prerogative of the service to push them out, whatever. Well, it's a risk. Pushing them out with whatever information they have or whatever. Well, it's a risk. But you see, the service will not allow, its image to be, its image, its code of conduct, rules and regulations to be compromised because, it doesn't want to allow certain people go. That is why you should not even have favoritism in some of these places. You saw the manner of recruitment that went on into the DSS under Buhari, where some states were overloaded, like Katsina, the president states, were overloaded. They brought in so many people from Buhari's state, allegedly, Katsina state. So I think the president needs to also look into this. He needs to investigate this matter, because if people are not being paid their allowances, then it says a lot about the way some of these agencies are being run. Because the DSS is the key intelligence unit in the nation's security architecture. And, well, some of these security failures, intelligence failures may not be all connected with dissatisfaction, among disenchantment among, service personnel.
Okay, thank you, Meka Mabnago. Now, do you see Bichi being investigated for the alleged misappropriation of the allowances?
Well, I wouldn't say Bichi has misappropriated any allowances. I wouldn't say so. Even if the story says so, I wouldn't say so, because I don't have evidence to back that up. But the fact of the matter is that if these allowances are not being paid, it might be a procedural problem. It may actually also be from a problem from the Federal Ministry of Finance. Because you see budgets, not being given cash backing.
Yeah, so
I
said alleged before.
Yes, alleged. Yes, I know, but I would give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean that it wouldn't be a case of misappropriation. That's what I'm saying. It might just be a procedural issue, but it should be investigated. So as to ensure that officers work within, an environment that, encourages them to put in their best. Because they are up against dangerous elements on a daily basis. Dangerous elements. Do you know, even all around us, do you know the kinds of dangerous elements we have? People with devious intentions. But the DSS, NDLEA, Nigeria Police, Civil Defense, name them, even the Nigerian military, patriotic officers, and the rank and file of these services, they engage in dangerous missions to fish out these devious elements. So my appeal is that, you see, the DSS being the one, the elite arm of the intelligence corps, in our security architecture, should actually look into this, and it should be, the allowances should be paid to them.
Very, very true. You see, Choma, this brings my attention back to Haiti, for example. There is currently a man called Barbecue. He was one of the lead forces, or the leading personnel with the Haiti police service. So he dropped out of the service, and right now he is leading the rebel against the country. In fact, the reason Haiti is such in a mess today is because of Barbecue. And why he is able to do that is because of the so much information he has within his reach. So he knows what to do, he knows where to get what he wants, and so on and so forth. So, this still brings us to the question of our security. When these people leave, I just hope they don't. But when they leave, hope all the information they have is protected, and they don't use it against us.
No, you've had cases of soldiers even leaving the service. People have resigned for one reason or the other. But it would be nice for government to pay them, to even give good allowances to security officers, so that you take policemen away, you take security officers away from this bribery, and all of that. It's not good for our image. If you pay them well, reasonably well, and government can afford to pay them, pay them reasonably well, you will see that they will put in their best. Our security officers can actually crack cases. They are well trained. They have sophisticated equipment. But the problem often is low motivation. And that should be taken good care of.
Very, very true.
Thank
Well, that's just about the time we have for all of our segments for today. We wouldn't want to leave this place without saying a very big thank you to Emeka Madunago for being
Thank
part
you.
and
Thank you so much.
being patient with us also
Thank you very much.
and being part
Very
of our
important.
show today. Very, very great. And for you, most importantly, you've taken our time to be part of our show today. We truly do appreciate your time. We'd love to say, please do visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com and also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. I am Henry Igwebike.
I'm Choma Okoya. Thank
And
you.
have yourself a wonderful day today, May 29. On behalf of the entire team, bye-bye from us.
Bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.